Good afternoon. My name is Barbara Fuller, and as Chair of the Board, I welcome you to this May 7th, 2024 regular meeting of the Washtenaw County Board of Road Commissioners. Our office coordinator, Erin Smith, will describe how our meetings operate, how to access the agenda packet, and how people may participate remotely. Erin.
Thanks, Chair Fuller. There are multiple ways to make public comment during today's board meeting, whether you're joining us in person or virtually. If you're here in person and would like to make public comment, please fill out the sign-in sheet now. If you're joining us virtually, we will ask you to raise your hand at the appropriate time in the agenda. If you're joining us virtually and are experiencing technical issues with audio or video during the meeting, submit a comment in the chat feature and our communications manager will help you troubleshoot. If you would like closed captioning during the meeting, you'll have to manually change your settings. Click on the captions button and select show captions. The audio and video of this meeting is being recorded, and a link to the recording will be posted to wcroads.org in the next few days. There are printed copies of today's meeting agenda on the table near the front door, and it is also posted on our website. And I'll turn it back over to Chair Fuller.
Thank you, Erin. I now call this May 7th, 2024 regular meeting to order and ask Erin to call the roll.
Chair Barb Fuller.
Present.
Vice Chair Rod Green.
Present.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas is absent today. Commissioner Joanne McCollum.
Present.
And then Commissioner Jeff Smurs.
Present.
And then the following directors are in attendance: Managing Director Matt Washtenaw, Director of Engineering County Highway Engineer Brent Schlack, Director of Operations Adam Leip, and Director of Finance and IT Dan Ackerman.
Thank you, Erin. Please join us in saying the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved. Second.
Any additions, deletions, or corrections? Seeing none, Erin, if you would, please.
Commissioner Rod Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Joanne McCollum,
Yes.
Commissioner Jeff Smurs.
Yes.
Commissioner Barb Fuller.
Yes. Next item is acceptance of minutes. We have two sets of minutes today. May I have a motion to accept the board meeting minutes of April 16th, 2024, as presented, appearing on pages 4 through 13 of the packet?
Make that motion. Second.
Additions, deletions, or corrections? Seeing none, Erin, if you would, please.
Commissioner Jeff Smurs.
Yes.
Commissioner Joanne McCollum.
Yes.
And Commissioner Rod Green.
Yes.
And Commissioner Barb Fuller.
Yes, the minutes are accepted. Next, may I have a motion to accept the working session minutes of April 16th, 2024? Those appear on pages 14 through 16 of the packet.
So move. Second.
Any additions, deletions, or corrections? Seeing none, Erin, if you would, please.
Commissioner Rod Green.
Yes.
Commissioner Joanne McCollum.
Yes.
Commissioner Jeff Smurs.
Yes.
And Commissioner Barb Fuller.
Yes, the working session minutes are accepted as presented. Our next item is a report of our county commissioners. I see that Commissioner Caroline Sanders is with us today representing District 4. Good afternoon, Caroline.
Good afternoon. I don't have anything to share. We have a meeting coming up next week, and as usual, I'm sure it's going to be packed full. Luckily, we have taken care of what we needed to for the road commission, so I think you all are spared for some time to come, and just glad to see everybody.
Thank you, Caroline. Give our best to Commissioner Light, if you would, please. Next, we have a special recognition to offer, and if Commissioner McCollum would please read the resolution.
Madam Chair, whereas Warren Capo has served as a valuable full-time employee of the Washtenaw County Road Commission from November 26, 2012 through May 30th, 2024, and has elected to retire on May 30th, 2024 to enjoy time with his family and friends. And whereas Warren Capo has provided 11 and a half years of knowledge and experience as a mechanic, heavy truck driver, and stock clerk, which has greatly benefited the Washtenaw County Road Commission and the citizens of Washtenaw County. And whereas, in having provided 11 and a half years of faithful and valuable service to the Washtenaw County Road Commission. His experience and knowledge will be greatly missed. Now therefore be it resolved that we, the Washtenaw County Board of County Road Commissioners, thank, acknowledge, and commend Warren Koppel for his dedicated service and wish him continued good health and happiness and success in all his future endeavors.
Congratulations, Warren. All right, we'll do the traditional picture over this way. Gentlemen, if I could have your help, we'll do the group picture from the crew after this one. But if you could help us by moving the chairs back a little bit so that Tiffany can get the shot.
I'll stay. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Are we balanced or we?
No, we're unbalanced.
So.
I need somebody on this,
Jeff,
somebody on this
on
side.
this way.
There we go. Oh,
Yeah.
Are we better now?
we're better.
You all ready? Did you?
All right. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
You good?
Stand by, sports guy.
There we go. Okay. No. Come on up here, so I can see faces. I want faces. 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 Faces.
That's you.
Okay.
Sure, just like.
Faces. No.
You want me to help? You want me to-
Love it. No.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
All right, now I get.
Thank you. Oh, okay.
You wanna hold this? You're fine.
Ready? Adjust. Okay. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Good job.
Took my wallet. Yeah. Where's that? It's common, I already asked about that.
Gotta remember that.
I have to know the details.
Yeah, I did.
It might be a problem for me. I'm not sure.
Hey,
Well, we're not there yet.
So where do we see these pictures? Are they somewhere?
We'll put them
How come we
in the
don't see them
weekly,
anywhere?
you put him what?
oftentimes, so on the weekly.
Oh, it's out every Friday.
Okay, that's where they are? Yes.
Look in the weekly.
Do you have everybody on that email?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was, I added,
Oh.
played back in February. I didn't realize that was my bad. Girl, all WCRC. And so the first part of the year, you weren't getting them. And Barb mentioned, and you mentioned.
Thank you.
So
I'm getting them. I
in
just
the
want to-
end, if you scroll,
Okay,
you'll see pictures for the week.
okay.
And in the pictures of the week, we'll have the exiting. Yeah.
All right. Nice job. Our comms director has indicated that Commissioner Light conveyed a comment in her absence via email. Tiffany, if you would, please.
Yes, Commissioner Light wants to send her regards and acknowledgement of how wonderful Ridge Road is looking.
All right, duly noted. Caroline, let Crystal know that her compliments were entered in the record. All right, moving on, public comment time. This is the time set aside on the agenda to receive comments from the public. This is not intended to be a period for dialogue. Each person will be allotted 3 minutes to address the board. Aaron will explain how people may be recognized to offer comments.
Thanks, Chair Fuller. Since this is a hybrid meeting with both in-person and virtual attendees, we will take turns between those attending in person and virtually. For our virtual attendees, we have provided some instructions on the screen on how to participate and make public comment. If you're attending this meeting virtually and would like to make comment, please raise your hand now. If you dialed into the meeting from your phone, you can raise your hand by dialing *9. Our communications manager will unmute virtual participants with raised hands one at a time and will announce your username or last 4 digits of your phone number when it is your turn to speak. And please share your name and address before beginning your comments. For our in-person attendees, we will start with those who signed up on the sign-in sheet as you walked in. If you didn't sign in, you're still welcome to make comment and we'll notify you when it is your turn. At this time, there is no one that would like to make public comment.
All right, we will move along to written communications appearing on pages 17 through 20 of the packet. Commissioners, anything to draw our attention to? Commissioner McCollum.
Madam Chair, several things. The Parker Road.
Page are you on?
Oh,
please?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Let me see. Parker Road is on page.
Just so we can follow along.
Sure.
Page 18.
Page 18.
Okay, so
Park-
what we're seeing are links. So
Okay,
go ahead.
so Parker Road resurfacing. And this is in several of them too, but I just like how we're able to reuse the road. It says pulverize the existing surface of the roadway and use it to create a new road. I just like how we're able to recycle that material. I think that's great that we do that. And so if you go down, I have a comment on another one, project update number 15, border to border trail. And I like how, when you look at that, when you go into that link, it's still on page 18, that there's a link to the border to border trail. So you can link on the border to border trail and you can see where all the trails are and located. So if you're interested in walking on those beautiful trails, you can do so. And also they had a really nice picture working on, I think it's Huron River Drive, paving that walk. That looks so nice. It makes me want to walk down there as soon as you're done. And my last thing is the letter from Webster Township, which is on page 20. And the supervisor, clerk, and treasurer of Webster Township sent this letter. And I like that they have proposed to use the road millage project solely for their gravel local roads. I thought that was a great commitment for them to do that.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
All right, and I believe our managing director may address that
Absolutely.
later on in the, now or later? Go ahead
What's
now,
your
since
choice?
it's on
Very
the
good.
table. Go for it.
Absolutely. So we met with Webster Township regarding this letter. Myself, Adam Leif, our Director of Operations, and Brent Slack, our County Highway Engineer, went and talked to them about the millage plan and the importance of investing into the primary network. They were wanting to see more investment in the local network. So what we did is we did make a change. And so the millage plan, which is on the agenda today, does make a change where we moved a seal coat project off a primary system. We'll probably end up doing that with MTF revenue at that year it was planned for. And then we had them prioritize one of their collector local roads, which was Walsh. So Walsh Road got added as a millage plan. So we were able to work through that and not only invest into our primary system, which includes gravel roads as well. So we had several gravel roads in our primary network. And then another one major investment was Webster Church resurfacing. So we were able to, I think, find some common ground and move forward.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thanks, man. Jeff?
I also have something to talk about on page 18 of the Jackson Road Concrete Rehabilitation link. What I wanted to point out is that rehabilitation and concrete can mean a few different things, so I was able to follow the links, find the PowerPoint from the actual presentation on what's going to be done on that project. I just want to urge other people to follow those links and let people know to follow the links that they're there. It's extremely user friendly. I had a question because rehabilitation can mean a few things and found my answer in a couple seconds, so.
Good to know.
I appreciate everyone, all the work that they put into keeping the website that friendly.
Great. Thank you.
Anything? No, okay. All set?
Yep.
Okay. Good comments and questions. We will move on then. There was no public comment, so we will bypass that item on the agenda, move right into new business consent agenda. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented, items 1 through 10. The motions are on pages 21 through 27, the background on pages 30 through 46. May I
So
have,
moved.
thank you.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Anything in particular you have questions about or need our managing director to explain? Seeing none. Aaron, if you would please.
Commissioner Joanne McCollum.
Yes.
Commissioner Rod Green.
Yes.
Commissioner Jeff Smurs.
Yes.
Commissioner Burt Fuller.
Yes, the consent agenda items are approved as presented. We have 2 action items today. Action item number 1, may I have a motion to approve consent? Action item agenda number 1 as presented. It's our 2024 first quarter budget amendments. The motion is on page 28. The background appears on pages 47 through 83.
Madam Chair, I move that upon the recommendation of the Director of Finance and IT and the concurrence of the Managing Director, the board hereby approves the 2024 first quarter budget amendments as presented.
Support. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Moved and seconded. Mr. Ackerman, do you have anything you want to share with us on this point?
Good afternoon, Board. Dan Ackerman, Director of Finance and IT. As we stated at the working session, if there were any changes from what was presented, we would communicate that. Some of the actual numbers have changed a little bit. As I mentioned, we had not closed our books yet,
Right.
but there weren't any impacts on the overall adjustments that we were proposing, which, as a reminder, would leave us with a fund balance of $18 million, which is 19% of expenditures. And besides that, I'm open to any other questions you might have.
Okay. Anybody further? I mean, we had a good discussion at our last.
Well,
working session.
exactly. And Matt, I don't know if you wanted to add anything or.
Yeah, I think on page 51 of the board packet, it's page 4 of the budget report. It has a very nice summary of where the numbers are at, and you'll see at the bottom, the 2024 projected fund balance is $18.4 million, as Dan indicated. We'll be revisiting this again in July, looking at it the second quarter. So I anticipate we'll making further adjustments and continue to monitor to make sure we're on track.
Yes.
And if there's any other projects or things that come up where we can take advantage of an opportunity, or we see changes in bidding pricing, we're still getting bids on various projects. So we should have all the bidding wrapped up by that July discussion. So we'll be very a little more certainty of where we're headed.
Just thank you for your stewardship of all of this.
Sure.
As you know, I had some angst after seeing a couple of
Yes.
community entities having struggles with shortfalls. So,
Certainly, I feel it's my job and really all of staff's job to make sure we don't get into a compromising position. So.
all right. No further questions. Thank you. Aaron, if you would call the roll, please.
Commissioner Jeff Smurs.
Yes.
Commissioner Joanne McCollum.
Yes.
Commissioner Rod Green.
Yes.
And Commissioner Burt Fuller.
Yes. Action item number 1 is approved as presented. Next, we have action item number 2. May I have a motion to approve action item agenda number 2 as presented? It's the Washtenaw County Road Commission's plan for the 2025 through 2028 roads and non-motorized millage funds. Implementation of this plan relies on approval by the voters at the August 6, 2024 primary election. The motion appears on page 29, background on pages 84 through 89. Go ahead.
Madam Chair, that upon the recommendation of the Director of Engineering, County Highway Engineer, and the concurrence of the Managing Director, the board hereby approves the 2025-2028 Washtenaw County Road Commission Project Plan for the countywide 0.5 mil roads and non-motorized millage renewal and restoration on the August 6, 2024 ballot.
I support.
Thank you. Any questions, discussion? Matt, did you have anything you wanted to say or?
Yeah, I can just summarize where we're at. Obviously, a lot of work has gone into this plan. It should be on your screen now. If not, it's on page 89 of the board packet. What you see on the screen represents all the projects that are slated to be accomplished for the road projects, and we also added the non-motorized projects from county parks that we know of. This is something that we've been doing for about 10 years now, and one of the successes is that the money raised for roads in each of the townships goes back into those townships. And we show people the plan and we go accomplish it. I think that's the value that people see in this ballot initiative, and we're hopeful that they will once again support this ballot initiative. But our task is to educate and let them know what would happen with the money if it were to be voted yes. So with this picture and graphical representation of the projects, we also have the lists. So each color coded year, 25, 26, 27, 28, this tells you where and what year it's going to be done. And then the table will let you know what type of project it is. And we use our asset management best practices. If a road is in fair or good condition, we're probably likely going to be seal coating or doing a mill and resurface. If it's in a poor state where we are going to have to pulverize and resurface, and Commissioner McCollum, you make a great point. A lot of what we do, we're recycling those materials. Even the millings will get recycled into the new mix, about 25% of it. So, and the old road gets crushed up, mixed with underlying material, and then graded and shaped and paved upon. So what we do is very much recycling that old road material. So it has the costs and the lengths. So it's a very detailed plan. We did have educational sessions with our townships. We did make a few changes and adjustments. We talked about Webster Township. York Township also had some requests, and we made a couple of adjustments there. So we feel very good about where we're at with the plan. After this board approves it, our plan is to then educate. We'll have a new page to our website for educational material to basically show this plan in a PDF format, also in a GIS format, so you can click on it and see information. Much like we have in the past with our previous villages. So that's where we're at, and we really appreciate all the support and energy that went into that staff has put into developing this plan.
Questions?
Yeah,
Commissioner Green?
being that the millage has not been approved yet, do the townships present their proposed projects to you and say, this is what we want done if the millage gets approved?
So what we've done is through these education events, we've said, this is the investment we're going to make into the primary system. So by and large, a lot of the funds get invested in our primary roads, because this is the road commission's only opportunity to generate additional funds for the primary roads. For the local roads, every township does it a little differently. Some of them have local millages, some of them pay through general fund. And so this is intended by and large to go and back into the primary system And so that's how we present the plan, because regardless if you live on a primary or local road, if you live on a local road, you're going to use that primary road to get to where you need to go, or to get to the freeway. So we presented this to the township and then we sought feedback. So
Okay.
we're not asking for them to come up a list. We presented it to them, asked for feedback, and then we made a couple of adjustments.
So we select the projects and
Correct.
they have input as to whether or not they,
Right, if there's a higher priority on a primary road, for example, in York Township, they had suggested that we make a change from one primary road to the other, and we did that. So that's the kind of feedback we're looking for.
thank you.
How are those conversations different from the annual agreement conversations?
So the annual agreement involves the local matching program, which the board sets aside $2 million this past year in this budget and said, all right, we're gonna have a matching program. It's capped. And the formula is very much like the Act 51 formula, based on miles of road, population of that township. And so that gets divided by 20 at least. And then they have that ability to, again, à la carte select, all right, what do we want to put our highest priority? And then we'll generate estimates. They might be gravel roads, they may be paved subdivision roads. Each township does a little different.
I see.
So
Thank you
they're
for that
two
clarification.
different kinds of conversations.
I
Yep,
see.
thank you
Along
for
the
that
way.
clarification.
Yeah, yeah. I too want to echo, this is an incredibly intense, labor-intensive process to come up with this proposed plan. You've got 20 townships, cities and villages, and again, my compliments that you brought it home in town to have this pulled together and up for our consideration today. A question, when we look at the non-motorized projects on this map, those are out of the percentage that the road commission receives. Those are not parks and recreation projects.
No, those are Parks and Recreation.
They are
Sorry.
parks and rec.
So the
Okay.
non-motorized component on this map are what the Parks and Recreation Commission gets that 20%.
Right.
So that's partly where that 20% goes.
Okay,
Keep in mind, they set aside 600,000 a year for the Connecting Communities Grant Program that townships can then apply for those funds. So they don't know yet where that's gonna go,
Mhm.
but they do know where they're going to put the other money. And it's on segments of like the border trail.
okay, okay. I just wasn't clear on whether,
Understood. So the
Okay.
non-motorized projects is always gonna be in the realm of Washtenaw County Parks as it
Okay.
relates to this map.
okay,
Now, other communities, they may take their road or their 80%, like the city of Ann Arbor, and they may do road and non-motorized projects. So there's a little confusion there. I can understand that. But the cities, they get to choose their own project lists.
right. So when you talk about their 80%, City of Ann Arbor gets their own money out of the millage.
Right.
It's not under our aegis or direction at all.
Correct.
So we've got City of Ann Arbor, City of Chelsea, City of Dexter, City of Milan.
City of Saline, City of
Saline.
Ypsilanti, they all develop a plan and they all submit to the road commission for reimbursement because the county really only wants to deal with one road agency.
But we don't pick their projects.
Do not,
Right.
correct,
We get our
lists from them.
we get our 80%
Mhm.
of the 100% to deal with, but then they get theirs as well. So what the City of Ann Arbor does with their millage money is out of our control and not our priorities necessarily.
No, and we will have a list on our website so that people kind of a one-stop shop.
Sure.
So if the city provides it, we will put it on our website for list and we already have the city's list.
Great,
Absolutely, for Ann Arbor.
not for the others,
Some
some, okay. So as we receive it,
will post it.
we'll post it. Okay,
Absolutely.
Thank you. All right, questions?
And just a
Commissioner
comment. It looks like every township has at least one road project.
Absolutely.
That's
So
great.
anything they generate as far as their tax revenue, we'll put into a road project. And we tried to make them very meaningful, impactful, things that are of great need. So it may only be one, but typically it's of significance.
Right. Thank you.
Right, sure. All set. All right, no further questions. Aaron, if you'd please call the roll.
Commissioner Rod Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Joya McCollum.
Yes.
Commissioner Jeff Smurs.
Yes.
And Commissioner Burt Buller.
Yes. Action item number 2 is approved as presented. Next on our agenda are the reports of our road commissioners, starting with Commissioner McCollum.
Yes, Madam Chair. On April 22nd, I attended the Washtenaw County Roads Training at Washtenaw Community College. It was very informative. On May 4th, I attended the Fix the Darn Gravel Roads event at Linden Town Hall. I enjoyed this event. I learned more about the bucket truck that is used to reach the signs. And I also received many positive comments about the work of the Washtenaw County Roads Commission. On May 6th, I attended the Southeastern County Road Agencies meeting located in Hillsdale, Michigan. The setting was beautiful. It was surrounded by lakes. I heard reports from several committees and agencies. And I will also be presenting the 3 Impress Awards to speak on Sunday night of the Commissioners Conference on September 22nd, which will be held at the Treetops Resort in Gaylord, Michigan. I also viewed the virtual public meeting 2024 construction season. It was very informative. I especially liked the part where there was a lot of information about safety and how, you know, to drive safely, be attentive of the workers and history around that. So I really like that. That's the end of my report. Thank you.
Commissioner Green.
Thank you. On April 22nd, I attended the Washtenaw County Road Commission all-day training session. It was very informative and enlightening. On April 24th, I attended the Washtenaw County Road Commission chat session with Aaron Smith and Matt McDonald. We had one visitor, Andrew. He indicated that he was a member of the Board of Directors for Prospect Point in Superior Township. And he was advised that the Road Commission owned the roads in that subdivision. There were some deficiencies in the roads in the subdivision, and he was wondering who should he contact to get the problem addressed. Our Manager Director, Matt McDonald, indicated that we're responsible for maintenance of the primary roads and that improvements to local roads require a 50% township match. He also discussed the possibility of an SAD as a possible option to be explored. On May 6th, I attended the meeting of the Southeast Council of the County Road Association. Along with others, I gave an update on the negotiating committee. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Commissioner Smurs.
The week of April 16th, I was unable to attend the working session and the full meet, the regular meeting in person. I was able to attend some of the working session in Zoom. So throughout that week, I finished watching the recordings of the other 2 meetings. April 22nd, I attended the all-staff meeting. It's a great meeting. I was impressed by everyone's professionalism and camaraderie. And on the May 4th, I attended the Linden Township Touch a Truck informational session that they had at Town Hall.
Awesome.
That's my report.
Okay. I will report that on April 17th, I attended the regularly scheduled Watts policy meeting. On April 19th, I attended the Millage Advocacy Coordination meeting. On April 22nd, I too was at the spring training for the Washtenaw County Road Commission. I want to provide compliments to Tiffany Oliphant, Communications Manager, for her impressive attention to detail, creativity, and choreography of the day. Matt Magnetall did a great job presenting his State of the Agency address, and senior staff members Adam Lape, Director of Operations, Brent Schlack, Director of Engineering, and Nicole Peterson, along with Tiffany Oliphant, Communications Manager, gave overviews of what was happening in their departments. Special acknowledgement to Chris Quinter, our IT Manager, for his assistance with technology challenges that raised their ugly heads throughout the day. On May 4th, I attended the Dexter Forum, responding to questions and appealing to attendees to utilize wcroads.org for project updates and for reporting road issues via the website or their smartphones. Several people expressed their frustration with drivers going through road closures, that they were driving around barriers, sometimes even through people's yards. I emphasized that that was something that we couldn't have people there 24/7 on all of these projects. They understood. I encouraged them to to submit an issue through our website or to contact the county sheriff. On May 4th, I attended the inaugural Touch a Truck event at the Linden Township Hall, along with Commissioner McCollum and Commissioner Smers, as well as special thanks for the staff who made time in their weekend to represent the Road Commission. Again, to Tiffany Oliphant, Communications Manager, for enhancing our presence with a beautiful orange tent and clever little maps and giveaways for people. The Road Commission was well represented by staff members Matt McDonnell, Adam Late, Tiffany Oliphant, Ray Hawkins, our sign erector staff person, and his son actually came along. Also, Todd Ford, our heavy equipment operator, and Commissioners Smers and McCollum were in attendance. On May 6th, I attended the quarterly meeting of the Southeastern Council of County Road Agencies in Hillsdale, along with the others. And I want to say that I was able to navigate the ducks and the ducklings without any fatalities. So that was a major challenge. That concludes my report. Turn it over to Matt for staff reports and any updates. Staff reports start on page 90 and go through page 98. Matt.
Thank you, Chair. Any questions on the material presented in the board packet? Go right ahead.
Commissioner
Yes.
McCollum.
I observed that the staff received 70 new tickets and 71 were closed. So I think that's excellent. Also, just curious about the ALGO phone or Algo phone at Manchester. Just curious about it. You have any information?
Yeah, that's one I didn't get a chance to catch up with Chris. I'm guessing that's the analog phone. Because we're still trying to get fiber into that yard, so
Okay.
that's probably what that.
Okay, I just didn't know the technical term.
Right,
for it.
Our obsession with abbreviations. Yes.
So is that, who's our ISP out there?
I think we have internet, but it's not high speed fiber optic yet. But that's I believe it's Comcast, and we're waiting for that upgrade, the fiber optic upgrade. So
How long have you been waiting?
a while, been a while.
Maybe it's time for an alternative.
That'd be great. Looks like Chris has his hand raised. Tiffany, can we go ahead and unmute Chris? Thank you, Chris.
He just couldn't.
He's always there.
It's all wrong. And he had to, what's up, Chris?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so first question, the Algo phone, it's the push button.
I can't
phone on
hear
the
you
gate.
now.
Sorry, you can or cannot?
Okay, Tiffany did her best.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, so to clarify, the Algo phone is the push button phone on the gate. So at yard 4, as you pull up to the gate, the pedestal there,
Thank you,
that's the
Chris.
button the delivery drivers will push. And it didn't have anything to do with the internet or anything like that. We are
Okay,
still
good.
waiting
Thank
on
you for that
Comcast
clarification.
to install fiber there, but that's still in process.
Another story.
Comcast has been the ISP in Manchester City Village for a long time. If you're struggling, we might find an alternative to help us.
We've been able to obviously maintain service, but I think more that fiber optic gives us more reliability and speed.
Yeah.
So we're hopeful. We'll look for alternatives, but we're managing. So the gate, so there's an automatic gate reader to answer your question.
Thank you.
Like we have here.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now
Use
we
our
know
prox card. Yep.
The term for
There we go. Me
Okay.
too.
it.
Thanks, Chris.
Any other questions or on that point? Okay.
Anything else? Okay. as many of you pointed out, we've kicked off our Touch a Truck season. These are very important events where we can connect with communities, kind of give a face behind the big equipment and tell people about the important work we do and answer questions and listen. We did a lot of listening as well. So these are great events. Tiffany does a great job of scheduling them, getting us ready, and then staff can attend as we get volunteers for various crews to bring equipment, and then ultimately that they are paid, but they are asked to go, and then we staff those so that we can answer questions that the community brings us. So it's an excellent opportunity also to talk millage. So we did that as well. Several times we were able to reference some of the maps that we printed out and brought with us. So we will continue to educate in that front as well. Several are scheduled, and if you're interested, we'll keep that schedule going in our communications. So
Are parades in there somewhere too?
parades
we
are
not-
generally typically in the holidays. Oftentimes because we're doing a lot of projects and whatnot, so
Yeah.
we're not. There's several community parades that I know that go on, but we have not typically participated in those. It's more the holiday parades with the lights.
Okay.
Yep. All right, with that, I will go ahead and turn it over to Adam Lape, our Director of Operations.
Good afternoon, Adam Lape, Director of Operations. For a little update today. The operations team, we still continue to prepare a lot of the 2024 primary road projects, as well as local road projects. So that involves the drainage improvements, the forestry, and then inevitably either construction team from engineering will take over and repave the road if it's a paved segment, or our crews will staff the project to spread the aggregate, whether it be limestone or gravel, to finalize those projects. So those are ongoing throughout the county, still making really good headway. We're flying along, so weather has been good for the most part. Scheduling from the superintendents is excellent. The foremen are executing, and the employees are doing great with the actual equipment out there, achieving these final products. So it's a hard task, challenging task to bring it all together, and we're doing pretty good right off the start. So a lot of that credit, like I say, goes to kind of the group that's doing that work, and that's the people out physically in the field doing. The remaining portion of the local road agreements, we expect the majority of those will find their way on the May 21st board packet to finalize most of those, with a few outliers that are, like we've kind of noted, a little bit more strategic planning and a little bit larger scale projects that take us a little bit longer to get final agreements set with them. And so that just keeps us moving, and this process will just continue throughout the rest of the year, and hopefully end at a pretty good time this year. If everything goes as planned and the weather cooperates, there's a good opportunity. We'll probably finish a lot earlier than we normally do, and maybe give ourselves another extra month or so of maintenance at the end of the season. So it's also an opportunity for the cost savings to be utilized, like we've talked about the past few years. Something we still keep that moving. We keep refining this program, so we get better and better every day. For the material storage building, that obviously the construction is basically complete. Now some punch list items to be completed with that. What we're doing now is we've actually entered into some of the demolition and removal pay items that we have, which are kind of exciting. I haven't really talked about those a lot. Really exciting part was to kind of see the brine corral. So the tanks that were existing out there on outside exposed to the weather and the elements. Those were removed last week. I was gone for training for 3 days and came back, and they're already out of here, and we're getting ready to reclaim the land. So we're moving along pretty good with that. Next will be demolition of the current salt dome. Excuse me. So at that point, we still have to move salt that's in that dome to the building, but given the concrete a little bit more cure time, finalize some plans and actually how they want to bring the building down, the existing structure down. And then we'll load ourselves, and they can finish that, and that'll pretty much tighten up the majority of that project. Some restoration work with seeding and mulching, things like that, that the contractor will kind of perform some of that, and our crews will even perform some of that for the specific areas that we've designated that we need to change our access points for, whether it be equipment storage or navigating that's essentially the south side of the building. We'd like to see some things a little different, not because anything was wrong. We know we need different access points. So we're probably gonna seed mulch that portion. The contractor's gonna do the upfront here closer to everybody's line of sight from all the utilities getting drawn into there. That being said, that's kind of it for us. Operations, we're chugging along in a good way. So no major events, so that's a good thing. We appreciate that, but open it up to any questions.
Mr. Green, anything?
I'll just point out, as Adam mentioned, the crews are doing a great job of accomplishing projects, but also balancing maintenance needs. So that's always a challenge because they've got a big workload ahead of them,
Correct.
with township agreements and projects, but you also have to balance that with all of our maintenance needs, and they're doing a great job. It's just, it's a lot early in the season.
Yeah.
But things are going well.
Thank you. Yeah, it's essentially two programs at one time. You have the construction season, you kind of have the maintenance season going at the same time. And that's really two very comprehensive projects going on at the same time and programs moving forward. So a lot of credit to everybody because we may be doing a project today and then tomorrow we got to hurry up and do some maintenance. And our group is dynamic. They're able to kind of tie it all together, but we benefit from having good equipment and having multiple pieces of equipment in the right places. That really helps us. For example, a lot of you saw at the Linden Township Hall, at that meeting from the weekend, we had one of our newer graders there. That's considered our primary grader. So that operator and that grader are able to do the projects and things like that. When we have a secondary grader, usually a little bit older in age, that can go out and do the dust control. So the maintenance side of things. We try to run those simultaneously. So there's a lot of coordination involved, but we continue to improve, which is impressive to see. This group has gotten better every year that I've been here for 10 years. So it's a good thing to see come together.
And you share resources amongst districts as well. So it's
Yeah.
a ever changing.
There are a lot of bodies moving on all 20 squares throughout the county. So
Yes,
we keep it exciting and we don't get very bored. So
no.
Well, I've been really impressed with how quickly the culvert replacement projects are executed and then coming back to restore the dips that occur after things start to
Yeah.
settle. And also the coordination that if you've got one road closed, there's a way around. And when that one's done, the other project is underway. It's just,
that is exceptional from kind of all angles, all the way from engineering, kind of designing it. So we have certain ones ready at the right time, whether it be getting agreements and moving through with their project portion of it. And even all the way to our foreman and superintendents, really like coordinating what the crews are going to do, because our crews are really good. They just need to be given direction. Where do they need to be? And so we're pretty good at kind of keeping that puzzle together and not stepping on toes, which it's not always easy. Sometimes we end up, overlapping each other. So we've learned valuable lessons over the, 10 years that I've been here. And, but we just keep getting better. So it is good. I appreciate the compliments. That program is flying. I think, 30 and the number continually goes up of measurable culverts that we've installed already this year. And size variation. Yeah, yes, ma'am. Size variation with, big to little 12-inch, but I mean, quite a few culverts that impact traffic at some point. So we've been able to get those replaced and even moving forward with some of the ones that failed during some of the events we've had here recently, i.e. Warren Road. Ken and Jared, the superintendents, were telling me today that they hope to get out that way with the heavy equipment crew, maybe even next week. So we're really moving forward. So keep the weather, fingers crossed, and we'll be good. But thank you for the compliments.
I'm concerned about the worker safety when I heard at the Dexter Forum about people going around barriers and ignoring.
Yeah, it is.
Are our people okay out there or are
Yes, as of
drivers
now.
being?
Yeah, and Brent can maybe talk a little bit more because that's the engineering project specific. But we do have good support. The sheriff has been keeping eyes on us. People are trying to, take best care of us as they can. But yeah, unfortunately, the certain humans just feel that, we're an inconvenience. And so that's why we make mention that you hear in our construction kickoff, Aaron Burkholz usually drives that conversation and I usually chime in and just little points here, that slide deck that we use, no, the road really is closed and this is why, and you can be penalized for that. But unfortunately, there are some people that are just, bound and determined to find their way. So our group stays pretty aware, having a little bit of more focus on safety with safety coordinator now is helpful, kind of keeps everybody a little more aware of what's going on. But the scary part is that you're relying on other humans to give us a little bit of grace to be out there. But but we are doing okay. So they've done pretty good with that, but yeah, maybe let Brent talk a little bit more specific to that project, but yeah, it's a little scary when we're out there.
Well, and electronic signs that you have out to give people fair warning,
It's helpful.
plan ahead, next week, you're
Correct.
gonna have to go a different way.
Yeah, and it's easier to have that conversation, like we all say, it's easier to have a conversation, say, well, we at least tried to notify everybody.
Right.
As opposed to surprises. That limits that number of surprise. You know, the Monday morning surprises are not good for anybody. So it's nice to have that equipment to do that.
Yeah, and again, I don't have the authority to do it, but if there's ever a road closure, because people are being particularly obnoxious, I'm all about it. Close the darn road if that means we don't have people.
Yeah, it just upset safety
Danger.
sometimes. Yep,
So,
agreed.
All right, thank you, Adam.
thanks, Adam.
Thank you.
I think we're good.
Next, we have Dan Ackerman, Director of Finance and IT.
Hello again, Board. Dan Ackerman, Director of Finance and IT. Just got a few things to share with you today. Chris continues to work on our Office 365 security score, and he's a little over 80%, which is right around what our managed service provider recommends we be at. So definitely continues to make progress there. Effective May 1st, we implemented the new password policy. Basically went from 8 characters to 12 characters. And 12 characters seems to be the magic number. Obviously, the longer your password is, the more difficult it is to hack. But 12 seems to be exponentially harder at that point. And, you know, it's kind of a best practices. And so we included that. And then as far as changing your password, that went from 90 days to never. So staff may not have liked having to have a longer password, but they like that they don't need to change it. And again, the magic number is the 12, or the longer password is the key for all that. So very little pushback from the organization, which was great. And again, it makes you know, everything more secure. So we just definitely appreciate everybody's cooperation with that.
Has everybody here changed their password to 12 digits? Character?
Mine was already 12 digits.
Okay, if it
No
already
change
was
necessary.
12, then you're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well over
Just-
12.
What?
I'm well over 12. I was thinking about it when he said it.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you do it here, it's easier, I think.
And actually, you know, they really change, instead of passwords, it's passphrases now. So you almost need to think of it that way. And then there's a certain level of complexity as far as uppercase, lowercase, symbols, numbers. We kept that from what it was before, but we had a mix of things. So again, that just makes it stronger that way.
Okay.
And then Chris worked with Callie and I. Some of our permits customers can pay us via PayPal, and we receive emails, and he wanted to change how the organization was receiving those to make it a little more secure. And worked with us with that, and that went well. So for finance, thank you for the approval of the budget. Just so you know, I always wait just in case. I wait for approval, and then I go into my second quarter spreadsheets and I start updating all my numbers. So I will do that. And as Matt mentioned, you know, in the second quarter, which will be here before we know it, we'll be talking about any other adjustments we need to make, as well as projections for 2025 and 2026, believe it or not. But you know, I don't just make the changes to the budget and just kind of forget about it until we start talking second quarter. You know, it's something that is monitored probably daily, I would say. And obviously, if things come up, usually staff's really good about bringing it up at our leadership meeting. And you know, there could be projects that come up. We receive bid prices, whatever the case may be. It's an ongoing conversation through the entire year. So it isn't just a couple times a year that we're looking at it. I would say it's every day. So on the last page of your packet is the Michigan Transportation Fund's latest update. It was basically flat for March of 2024 compared to 23. For the year, it's up about 2%. So again, we're fine as far as the budget, and may even want to consider increasing possibly. the budget we have for Michigan Transportation Funds, but, you know, we'll get a couple more months of history and then we'll decide as a team if we can make that adjustment. I was able to finalize and submit the 2023 Act 51 report, which is always huge and a heavy lift and something that's good to put in the rearview mirror. So it's nice to move on from that. Commissioner Fuller, just an update. We continue to work with DTE as far as getting them set up as a ACH vendor. So appreciate your support and contacts and encouragement. It's definitely has been a long road and Jamie Kraus in finance has been great working on this. We think we're close. What we're going to attempt to do, hopefully within the next week or so, is you send a penny test. So you send 1 penny to make sure it goes through, and then you can reverse it. But assuming that goes through, then we've got, I believe, just about all of our utility companies set up on ACH, which is great. So
Those are the
again,
big ones, right?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, DT was our last big one. so.
Okay, okay.
And we're consistently around 80% ACH payments to checks, which is great as well.
Okay.
And that's my report, unless there's
Any questions for Dan? Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. And next, Brent Slack, Director of our Engineering. Last report.
Hi, Brent Schlack, Director of Engineering. First, I wanted to thank you for the comments on the plan for the millage, the development of that plan. It was a group effort. We had those within engineering and those within operations, and thank you to all those that were involved. It was quite the process, and I'm glad that we finally have gotten to where we can start educating on that plan. As far as the safety and our closure, so we take into consideration we try to balance out like the length of the detour, the project timeframe, impacts to businesses on whether or not we have that roadway closed or not. A lot of cases it's due to the safety. We've had some incidents recently, and we've contacted the sheriff's department and they've been a great partner and they've come out and help us. It's not only vehicles that we've had issues with, we've also had issues with pedestrians, walking and, you know, being within our closed areas, which are in some cases not safe, particularly when we have contractors working. And so we've worked with the sheriff's department and they've been a great partner, like I said. So, yeah, we're trying to deal with these situations and trying to balance out all of those considerations when determining whether or not we close a road. But safety is a large factor in that.
Yeah, I have 0 tolerance in case you haven't noticed.
And we appreciate that.
Yeah.
One aspect, as far as the millage, we've already started in some aspects of our education as far as internal. So the engineering department is actually going around doing a road show with all the different districts and departments within Washtenaw County Road Commission. So we are just kind of going over overview of engineering, reviewing our current construction plan for this year, going through asset management, which Matt kind of touched on, and then reviewing our millage plan and arming them with tools to educate about our current millage plan and to educate their neighbors and friends and what have you. So we've met this morning, we met with District 2 and 5. This week, tomorrow, we're meeting with District 1, signing signals in the stock room. And then we have District 6 on Thursday. And then we have the rest of the districts in the next couple weeks. So we are going forward with that effort. We did receive bids for one of our projects. It's the Ann Arbor Saline signal modernization. It's a CMAQ, which is congestion mitigation air quality project. That's to modernize signals from US 12 through the city of Saline, all the way to Maple Road and then or along Maple Road and then down Ann Arbor Saline Road to I-94. So essentially you'd have a corridor from 94 to US 12 that would be on our signal system and have some signals modernized so that we can talk to those.
Tell me
Uh,
again what stretch of road this is?
So it'd be along Maple Road from US 12 to Ann Arbor Saline.
Okay,
And then on Ann Arbor Saline from Maple to I-94.
and beyond that, it's the city of Ann Arbor, right?
Correct.
Yep.
Correct. So we did receive bids in for that project. Unfortunately, it did come in a little bit over 8% over. Rawhorn was our low bidder for that project. We will be moving forward with that and then looking at any adjustments that we may need to do to our budget for that. We also have a couple bids out there. We have our pedestrian facility upgrades, which is kind of an ADA for our signals to upgrade any type of features at our signalized intersections or some ADA ramp upgrades. Those bids are due on May 9th. And then our Jackson Road concrete inlay project, which I know Commissioner Smers mentioned earlier, those bids are due May 14th. That's an inlay project, which inlay kind of means we're basically going to be removing the concrete and replacing that and the westbound lanes of Jackson Road between Jackson Industrial and Myrtle. So those bids are going to be opened on May 14th. A couple other updates on some projects. North Territorial Dexter Town Hall, that project is moving along. We actually have the HMA, the hot mix asphalt base down. The contractor's working on some restoration and we're hoping to have that topped in the next few weeks. So that project's progressing well. We did have the contractor install the master arm steel intersections from Ford and Russell and Ellsworth and Oak Valley. So those are installed. Ford and Russell is operational because there was an existing signal there. Ellsworth and Oak Valley is a new traffic signal. And so that signal is operational in flash mode. So that one's flashing for the motorists to get used to that signal at that location. Next week, we'll turn that to fully operational where it's red, yellow, green.
Where's that one again?
Ellsworth and Oak Valley.
Oh, okay.
That's actually a millage project, and that will complete that millage effort for that intersection. North Territorial, the Mass to Webster Church, that contractor is working on the south side of the road. And it's at Webster Church that is run by a traffic signal. It's a one lane road only on North Territorial. And working on the south side, the contractor's working to try and get to preparation for curb on that south side. Miller and Zeeb, the roundabout project, curb is being placed and we're expecting paving to begin here in the next few weeks. We do have a couple paving projects, Parker Road, which was mentioned earlier. That's a pulverization project that's complete and that roadway is open. The contractor is working down at Sharon Howell Road. That's Sharon Howell between Austin and Sharon Valley. We've milled that surface and actually we're planning to pave tomorrow.
Good to know. Thank you.
Mhm.
I'll go the other way when I come out of the driveway.
And then I would just encourage, like it was brought up earlier on our website, anyone that has interest in any of our current or upcoming projects, please visit our website. It is a great tool. I know even this morning, as we were talking to District 2 and 5, we brought up that website and we were able to go to each project and explain. And Tiffany and her staff do an excellent job updating our website with all of our current projects. So please visit our website. It's a great tool, not only for our projects, and I'll just give a plug out to Tiffany and her staff. We also brought up the township pages within our website. So on our website, we have the township pages and those have the cards for each township. We were able to pull that up this morning with our group and go through examples, show asset management. We have our asset management. We have what we've done within those townships. And so it was a great tool. And we even had comments at the meeting. Wow, we have quite a bit on our website and we do. So just a shout out to our comms team.
So tell me again what tab to use to get to the township, doing business?
So
with?
go to doing business and then go to townships, yep. And then you can.
Okay, so I have a question. Why isn't that under road work and construction? That's it, I'm just curious. That's not intuitive to me. I think I asked you about that before. Where is it?
Yeah, oftentimes, we think of partnership, with the local road program. So the partnership is doing business with, that's where and why it's there.
Okay. So if I put townships in the search bar, will it take me there?
Yes,
Okay,
should.
so when in doubt, type in townships and it'll get you there.
Yes, that's correct.
Perfect, okay.
So that concludes my
Numerous
report.
ways to
Unless
get
there's
there.
Any questions?
Commissioner Green?
Would that take me to any projects going on in that particular township?
It will.
All projects,
Name a township. What do you want to see?
Superior. Like some guys were working on the
So
road this morning on the way here, so.
Yeah, so it'll
On Gettys
link you
Road.
to any updates that are within that township. And actually, there's a tab there for the actual township page. So you could go to that link and it'll take you to their page.
Okay,
But yes, if you go to you can see there's some, the latest updates. So there's a lane restriction on Ridge Road. And, so yes,
Very good.
okay, very good. Thank you.
you're
That
welcome.
makes sense?
Yes.
And I'll also point out, you can subscribe to this page. So if you want to email updates on anything going on in Superior Township, you just put your name in there with your email, and then you can subscribe to either the township or multiple townships or project updates. It gives you a whole laundry list, and Tiffany's demonstrating. So thank you.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to give a shout out as well to Adam and his crew for the covered work that was done on Harris Road. It's very short. There's very short time of construction
Closure, yeah.
and very few detours and delays. I thought that was excellent.
Great job. Okay.
One thing I would point out that I learned today from Brent is our countywide pavement marking contract is starting.
Yes.
And one thing you'll notice, if you think the lines are a bit brighter, they are, because they're a little wider. So we changed and I'll let Brent explain. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Brent.
no, thank you for bringing that up. I should have had that in my update, but yes, our pavement marking contractor is in and we're retracing a lot of our existing markings. And that includes, last year, the year before, we went to a wider edge line, which was from a 4-inch line to a 6-inch line. And this year, through a lot of the direction of our new senior project manager, Michelle Ford, we went from a 4-inch center line to a 6-inch center line. And so that just helps a lot of the new features on vehicles utilize the lines. And so having that brighter, bigger line just really assists for any type of lane departure or anything within our county.
These are safety enhancements
Correct.
that a lot of newer vehicles have for lane assist and also visibility at night. So that's a nice enhancement. But obviously it'll look a little different, the feel and look of it.
Yeah,
I think the most recent one was here in River Drive that was painted.
right. Yep.
So that's a lot more paint, right?
It is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And
I mean, it doesn't sound like much, but yeah.
it is. Yeah. And we had to account for that in our budget. So
Okay.
yes, but well worth the safety that we get from that.
All right,
All
very
right,
good.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks, Brent.
All right, that concludes our reports.
Okay. Please note that our next working session starts at 9 a.m. on May 21st. I think Joanne, you had indicated you won't be with us that day, right?
Yes, I'll just be a little late because I'm going to be at the Habitat for Humanity breakfast.
Okay,
And that's just down the street. so.
okay. And our next regular board meeting is that same day, convening at 1 o'clock. Our virtual chat sessions in May, again, noon to 1. Tomorrow is Commissioner McCollum. May 15th is Commissioner Smers. 22nd, I'm on tap. 29th is Commissioner Green. That's just after Memorial Day, I think, right? Isn't, so, those two are close to that holiday. Any other announcements from anyone or questions? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
If you would, please, Aaron.
Commissioner Jeff Smurs,
Yes.
Commissioner Joya McCollum.
Yes.
Commissioner Rod Green
Yes,
and Commissioner Burt Fuller.
Yes, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
thank you.